Good afternoon, Who Dat Nation. This is Bob Rose of the Saints News Network. And in a surprise announcement, my co-host to be, Brendan Boylan, which on screen with us. Happy to welcome you, Brendan. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Some real fun news, something that we've kind of kept under our hat a little bit. But nonetheless, excited to get started with not just an exciting Saints season, but what you and I are going to be able to do. And something, like I said, we've discussed for a long time and finally was able to kind of get this thing going and get it to come to fruition.
Yeah, and that news is this, ladies and gentlemen. The Bayou Blitz Podcast is coming back to your airwaves. For those of you that are a little bit unfamiliar, our boss and chief editor at the Saints News Network, Kyle Mosley, and I started the Bayou Blitz back in the spring of 2018. And we ran with that for a couple of years, I think ended up being a pretty popular show. We've taken most of the last year off, due to health reasons and scheduling conflicts and things like that. But I'm thrilled to announce that we're going to kick off the Bayou Blitz podcast. This time Kyle Mosley will still be heavily involved, as will our fellow writer John Hendricks at the Saints News Network. But the Bayou Blitz will be on your airwaves every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. with myself. And to pretty up the joint a little bit, Brendan Boylan will be joining me as well. We will be co-hosting your brand new and revamped Bayou Blitz podcast.
I don't know about prettying it up. I mean, I understand that I kind of bring the average age down a little bit, Bob, but I don't know about prettying it up. But I'm so excited. The first time we got to know each other was actually way back when we were both on Saints News Radio. Yeah. I think Kyle was still doing podcasts before the Saints News Network on Fan Nation and Sports Illustrated even existed. So to be able to kind of go back to the roots where I started covering the Saints, to go back to the roots where you and I together were covering the Saints on a weekly basis is super exciting. For people who don't know me, I was hosting the Who Dat discussion last year in place of Andrew Galata. I've been with the Saints News Network since 2015, covering the Saints on and off. I've had a good career with ESPN and the ESPN Plus streaming service, and everything's been really, really good for the last couple years. But like I said, to be able to get back to my roots in podcasting and covering a team that I've now covered for, let's do quick math, Bob. I'm not good at this. I got a D in college math, but 7 years, 8 years, something like that I've been covering this team. So really happy just to get back into it. And hey, I guess all those hours of covering the draft with you the last couple years has really built this chemistry. So this should be a smooth sailing for us.
Yeah, and I was thrilled, when you said that you'd be willing to take on this project with me. For those that don't follow us, A, shame on you, and B, Brendan and I for the last 2 seasons, really, but exclusively last year, we provided you with a live pregame show and a live halftime show for every single Saints game. In addition to our hours working together, I think we've been together the last 3 drafts, but the last 2 have been a lot of you and I. So we certainly have built up that chemistry. I myself have been covering the Saints since 2016. Started out with the Big Easy Believer when our mutual good friend, the late Barry Hurstis, brought me on, sort of as an intern. And then after that, I worked with John Hendricks, our partner at the Saints News Network. But John was my lead editor at the Canal Street Chronicles. And in the process, that's when you and I started doing the Crescent City Connection podcast with Kyle every week. And in the process, worked up a great relationship with him. When the Saints News Network agreed to become part of Fan Nation, a subsidiary of Sports Illustrated, of course, SI.com. Kyle brought me over, and I've been together with you guys since I think it was 2018 or 19. One of the two. You might not be great
1994.
at math. My memory is faded in the background. But when Kyle and I did the Bayou Blitz before, it was mostly just a radio show, very little video. Video shows were involved at that time, but we had a lot of great guests. Guests that we've all worked up personal relationships with. Guys like Quinn Early, Jim Everett, Willie Whitehead, Pat Swilling, Willie Roach, Delvin Bro. I see his jersey in the background, and I have a card from our friend Delvin that was autographed too. That's just to name a few. Brendan and I have both been fortunate enough to make some wonderful connections in this industry. And like I said, established personal relationships with these guys. We knew them as players when we were kids and growing up. And we've gotten to know them a little bit away from football. And these guys are great. And we're really excited to have them part of this project too.
Well, absolutely. We're going to have a lot of exciting guests for you guys. Bob, I know you have, I'll give you the privilege, and I know you have the news of who's going to be our very first guest when we kick the podcast back up starting July the 20th, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Who is going to be our first guest on the revamped Bayou Blitz?
It's a secret, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to tell you yet. The guest has confirmed with Brendan and I, and he has been heavily involved in promoting our work at the Saints News Network. And the only hint I will give is that I am a guest on his national radio show every week. So if you follow me, it should be an easy one to figure out. This person is going to be our guest on our re-kickoff when we do it July 20th. That's a Wednesday evening at 9 o'clock Eastern time. You folks can certainly watch us live while doing it, but we're going to set up a way where you could stream the show and watch it after the fact too. I'm sure Brendan's going to be the technical aspect. He's the beauty, the looks, and the brains.
Oh man,
I guess I'd bring the experience.
That's a lot of pressure, Bob. That's a lot of pressure for me, but no, we'll have this stuff up and running to where you guys are going to be able to watch it through Saints News Network. You're going to be able to watch it through the Facebook group, the Bayou Blitz Facebook group. If you haven't already, please join. We're going to be able to be caught on Spotify and hopefully Apple Podcasts. We're going to have it all linked up to where whatever you're doing, you're driving to work, you're driving home, you're walking the dog, you're at the gym working out, whatever you're doing, if you want to get the very latest in Saints news and then hear some opinions of Bob and I, nonetheless, you're going to be able to from wherever and however it's most convenient for you guys to get your podcasts. So like I said before, really excited to be able to get this back going, privileged to be a part of it. And just being able, like I said, to get back to my roots in podcasting, it's a real privilege, and can't think of another person I'd rather do it with than my guy, Bob Rose.
No, right back at you. Brendan, you've been an up-and-coming writer and consultant in this business for quite some time. I've loved working with you. And folks, you're not going to be able to escape us. This show is going to be every week, where we plan on doing the pregame and the halftime shows for you as well during the Saints games during the regular season. We did agree that we weren't going to kick off this new podcast until just before training camp, because we understand that interest in the NFL, it's kind of a slow period of the off season. But once we do get up and running, we plan on doing shows year round, even in the dead periods of next off season and beyond. Because again, Brendan and I have gotten to know some great guests, while during the regular season. The guests will join us for a brief segments to preview upcoming games. But then during the off season, that's when it gets fun with guests, because you can get to know them a lot more. They can stay on for the full hour with us, and our show will schedule to be at least 1 hour. So like I said, you're going to have a hard time escaping us.
Hey, they've had a hard time over the years, whether it's been just through Saints News Radio, whether it's been your writing and all the different channels you have, the writing that I've been able to do. These people aren't escaping. I think the regulars kind of know that, but I know they're also excited about that as well. Well, we don't want to take too much of your time up. Wanted to give you guys this quick announcements, one that we are both super excited about. Bob, what you got here at the end for our guests? How can they follow us with the new podcast?
Well, first of all, if you've already, like Brendan said earlier, if you've already not done so, get on Facebook and join the Bayou Blitz Facebook group. It's a wonderful interactive group. It has some of the best Saints fans I've ever been been around and got to interact with. We publish all of our articles on there, of course, but it's probably the best way to live stream the show or catch it after the fact if you've missed it. But it's, like I said, it's going to be more than just a show. The Bayou Blitz Facebook group, has a lot of opinions. We stream all of our articles through there. And then, of course, you can follow Brendan on his social media platforms, which he'll drop to you in a minute. Or you can follow me, my personal page on Facebook, Bob Rose, or over on Twitter at BobbyR2613. And obviously, the Saints News Network has a Facebook group. And a Facebook, and a Twitter page too. That please, follow. Everybody's work gets streamlined through there.
For myself, you can see it right there. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BT Boylan. Exciting stuff. I guess Bob kind of just put me in charge of it, but we have a Bayou Blitz Twitter and Instagram. The Instagram, we're going to put all of our podcasts in reels on Instagram. So definitely check that out at Bayou Blitz Pod. The exact same for Twitter at Bayou Blitz Pod. There you're going to be able to see essentially all Saints news. We're planning on sitting there retweeting Saints news, articles. Obviously, any Angry Bob opinions and moments will be there as well. I'll try to be the calm between the two of us, the yin and the yang, that kind of deal. But nonetheless, just really excited to have the opportunity to come back, talk Saints news, talk Saints topics with Bob. And we will see you guys July 20th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time. Like I said, Bob, let's just get to work.
Love it. Thank you all for your support. Brendan and I are really excited about this project. We know we're going to be entertaining to you, but any ideas, thoughts, or input that you have, we want you to help us build this community. We want you to help us build this show into hopefully national syndication, but certainly one that's recognized through the radio and broadcasting community. Thank you so much for all the support that you've given Brendan, myself, John, and Kyle over at the Saints News Network. We're just going to ask you to be yourself and continue supporting us and help us build this show together, because we're all a family.
That's right. We'll see you guys July 20th. See you then.